Guys, good evening. I hope everybody's having a great day. And we thank you all for Closures Daily. Thanks you all for being on this webinar tonight and taking time out of your time with your family in your evening to listen to what we have to say tonight. This webinar, I'm going to go over some instructions with you, is going to be about an hour, hour and a half long. We are going to open it up the last 30 minutes for Q&A. During this entire presentation, you are going to be able to ask questions throughout the whole presentations. You have a little toolbar for Zoom and it says Q&A. Just go ahead and click on that and you can send in questions throughout the whole presentation. I want you to know that it's not going to interrupt me in any way, but I don't want to miss anybody's questions. So please feel free to send questions in during the whole presentation. We will be opening it up to Q&A at the end, but I want the questions sent during the presentation so that you don't forget. We do appreciate all of you being on this presentation tonight. We're going to have a 39 to 40 page slideshow presentation. I forget the count because I added a few more slides tonight in a rush for you because I've got some exciting news for you at the end of the presentation tonight. I cut some super good deals for you guys for marketing, and I got some great things to talk about. Also, for being on this webinar tonight, try to stay on the whole time, because when you stay on the whole time, you're going to be included in at the end on all the bonuses that we're going to be giving away tonight. Some of the bonuses, to name a few of them, are going to be some awesome marketing letters that we've put together just for you guys. Foreclosures Daily also put some postcards together for you guys and cut a huge deal with a print shop for you guys, known nationwide to do prints really cheap for you guys and to do your mailings. We also are going to give you an investor letter versus a realtor letter, so it suits both of your needs. We're going to give you a 6-step mailing campaign instructional for being on the call, as well as a phone script on how to negotiate with a seller, and the do's and don'ts of marketing, and also an attorney letter to email to the attorney, and about 25 different really good links for you guys that we've farmed a lot of people for you guys for marketing and skip trace list and all kinds of people out there that do things for you guys that you need in your business today. And we have found the best ones nationwide, and we're going to be exploding out to them tonight for you guys, and they're all going to be offering you discounted rates just for mentioning our name. So let's go ahead and get started. And what's going to happen is I'm going to stop sharing my video, and then we're going to go ahead and start the slideshow presentation. So please, again, send Q&A in all evening long. We're going to be answering questions at the end, so it will not interrupt me. And if you're just now joining the webinar, the Q&A is right at your toolbar. It says Q&A. If you just click on that. Can you guys hear me? Somebody just sent a message in saying that they couldn't hear me. Type yes if you can hear me and you just heard everything that I said, please. And if you don't have any sound, it might be because you have your personal sound turned off on your computer, because everybody else is saying that they heard everything that I just said. So you heard the introductions, right, everybody? All right, Nicholas, it's got to be the sound on your computer. Maybe you have your mute on, so go ahead and unmute your computer and make sure that you have your sound all the way up. You'll find it right on the keyboard of your computer. So everybody can hear me. That's great. We're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, and we're going to start the presentation. And again, send Q&A in during the whole presentation. It is not going to interrupt me in any way, guys. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I'm looking forward to this, and just stand by for just a moment. Okay, guys, I'm Tangi Cousins. We're a nationwide lead provider. We have leads for about 25 different types of leads we can offer you. We offer leads to realtors, investors, attorneys, and just your basic first-time home buyer. We've been in business since 2004, and since then we have helped many investors, realtors, and attorneys grow their business and increase their revenues. We teach people how to use different types of leads that we have to offer, and I also teach the do's and don'ts of marketing, what to say and what not to say, and how often to mail the letter. This is my email address that I put up for you guys. If at the end of the call you would like to reach me, you can reach out to me via email or phone. Right now, just go ahead and jot down my email address. It's tangi@foreclosuresdaily.com. Go ahead and jot that down. If you forgot anything, or if you got to ask anything on the webinar, or if you just didn't have time to stay on and you want to replay, the owner, I think, is going to be recording this, so we may be sending out a replay in the end possibly. So go ahead and jot my email down, tangi@foreclosuresdaily.com. Who we are. We're a nationwide lead provider. We provide leads, again, to realtors, investors, attorneys, and just your basic first-time home buyer. And we have been in business since 2004. And since then, we have been the internet's #1 destination for the most detailed, timely, and accurate information. And here's how we are different. All of our leads have real estate attached. They're all delivered either daily, weekly, or monthly, depending on your location. But just so you know, like probate leads and pre-probate leads, divorce leads, stuff like that's always going to be weekly and fresh. Property appraisers data information is included on most data types. We try to get as much property appraisers information as we possibly can. Most companies that we have found are tend to be quarterly, and they're not farming for real estate. And even if you do find a company out there that happens to be a little bit fresher, maybe monthly, they're probably not going to be farming for property. We're going to go over that in detail in just a few minutes. We here at Foreclosures Daily understand the importance of having fresh data that is farmed for real estate. Here's how we are different. This is some of the types of leads we have to offer you. Probates, pre-probates, absentee owners, inherited leads, divorce leads, tax leads, auctions, evictions, cash buyers, list pendants, code violations, and distressed homeowners, just to name a few, guys. We have about 25 different types, and we can also customize your leads for you. For example, you can get absentee owners with high equity. You know, we can do stuff like that. You can get free and clear, so we can also customize your list for you. But this is just to name some of the hottest that we have. Now, the hottest leads nationwide we have today are probates, pre-probates, code violation, divorce leads, absentee owners, and inheritance are some of the hottest leads nationwide out there today. My clicker just a little bit slow behind today, guys. There's a little bit lag on my clicker, so just stand by and bear with me. Some of the fears that people have when we talk about the different types of leads we have to offer is, I don't know how to do probates, or I've never done divorce leads before. I'm not really sure I know the process of a code violation. And you know, here's what I teach people, guys. It's okay that you don't know how. It's okay that you've never done it before. And it's okay that you don't know the process. We don't want you to know those things. If you knew how to go through the probate, and you knew the process of probates and what to do and the whole entire, you know, process of the actual probate case, that probably means you went through it. And the last thing we want for you is for you to have gone through something like that. And I've never understood why people say that. I'm not really sure I know the process of probate, so I can't work them. Guys, just so you know, that's what makes probates the hottest leads nationwide that you'll ever get. It's because people's fears. They think that they cannot work a list that they don't understand the process of. And as long as you know your job, which is marketing, answering the phone, running comps, visiting the property, estimating the rehab costs, putting an offer in and writing a contract, those are just some of the things that's your job. If you want to focus on knowing your job, that's fantastic. You don't need to focus on knowing mine. For example, if I'm your neighbor, and let's say I'm out washing my car or mowing my lawn, and you find out that I have a property that I may want to sell, whether it's because I'm in probate, whether it's because I'm going through a divorce, whether it's because I'm in foreclosure, my situation shouldn't matter to you. The only thing that should matter to you is I'm a human being, I'm your neighbor, and that I may have a property for sale, okay? That's what should matter to you. My physical situation does not matter, because at the end of the day, whether I'm going through a foreclosure, whether I'm going through a divorce, whether my property's via inheritance, you know, whether I'm going through a probate, my situation should not matter, because guess what, guys? I'm the one that needs to know my job. You just need to know your job. If you can buy a property, you can buy any house that's in probate, foreclosure, divorce, inheritance, eviction, code violation. Remember, their situation doesn't matter. So stop going out, spending $5s and $10s of thousands of dollars on training yourself to learn a process that you don't need to know until your parents pass. Because at the end of the day, the only thing you will have taught yourself is how to go through your probates when your parents pass and you have to go through this, or how to go through your divorce if and when you file divorce. You don't need to know those things. So just remember that, guys. And if I'm across town, for some reason, when I talk to people, I'm like, hey, John, if I was your neighbor and you knew I had a property, would you go take a $10,000 training class to come outside and talk to me? Of course not. Then why are you doing that to mail somebody 10 miles down the road? That's exactly what you guys are doing. And I want you to stop, because you don't need to do that. Listen, let's talk about some of these leads we're talking about that you have fears about. Probate. When a person is in probate, what is it? It's the legal process wherein the estate of a decedent is administered. When a person dies, his or her estate must go through probate, which is a process overseen by a probate court. Probates by far are some of the best leads nationwide you'll ever get. They have the most equity. They typically don't mind taking a discount, and they're extremely motivated to sell their property. They usually always want to sell. Think about it. When people lose their parents, they're 50 and 60 years old. They're almost always have their own property at that age. People are usually established in their own life, and they will more than likely want to sell this property because they don't have any skin in the game, guys, and they don't mind taking a discount either. So not only do they have their own property, they never bought this property. So remember, guys, any money that they make on this property is more money than they had to begin with. I've got one guy that made 2 huge gold mine of deals. He made $110,000 on a probate property that he bought for $26,000, and it only needed $10,000 of rehab. And he made a profit of $110,000 when it was all said and done on that property. I got another guy who made $150,000. Now those are extraordinary, right, guys? Those aren't your average deals. The average deal on wholesaling a probate property is about anywhere from $10,000 to $25,000 to $26,000, right? But this person actually rehabbed the property, so this was not a wholesale deal. But I do have a guy that made a lot of money like that on a wholesale property. I have multiple clients that have done that. So these properties can be taken for a dime on a dozen, dirt cheap, and you can flip this property and make an absolute ton. I had a guy the other day that told me he made $55,000 on one of our probate properties. $55,000, and it was a wholesale. He didn't even rehab the property, guys. It was in and out. He just transferred it to somebody else. All probate timelines are different. So a lot of people think, oh, I don't want to work probates. It's a long process and blah, blah, blah. And everybody's scared, right? And you hear all these horror stories. Oh, this guy's probate case lasted a year. Well, you know what, guys? Sometimes that happened. That did happen. What happened was it scared everybody into thinking that probates are this huge, long process. I've got people closing probates in 2 months and less. All probate timelines are different. Each one of them will vary, but trust me when I tell you, it's in the best interest of the judge, the court, and the PR to get this property in and out of probate court as quickly as they possibly can to free up that judge's calendar for other cases to come in. And the average probate takes about 2 to 4 months, but most of them are closing a lot quicker than that. In many cases, they can sell the house in less than 2 months. Now, a pre-probate. Everybody's probably sitting there wondering, what is the probate and what is a pre-probate, right? And what's the difference? Now, a pre-probate basically means a person has died last week, a death certificate has been filed, and we have verified that they own real estate, right? Now, the benefit of working a list like pre-probates, why would you want to work a pre-probate? Let me tell you why. Number 1, you'll be first at the door. Number 2, you may also reach people who will inherit their property via a trust and who may want to sell their property right now. And if they've inherited that property via a trust, they may be able to sell that property right this second, okay? So pre-probate is good because not only will you be first at the door, guys, but if they inherit the property via a trust, you may be able to buy that property right now. Now, the benefit of working a probate is if they do have to file probate, and most people do. Guys, did you know that only like 7 to 10% of the people that die will actually physically own property? But most of the people that die don't have property, okay? But most people that die that have property have to go through probate. So the benefit of working a probate is if they do have to go through probate, at least they've filed. They may be further along in the process now because they filed and they may be closer to ready to make a decision. So there are huge benefits to working at probate versus a pre-probate. And people say all the time, you know, why would I want to buy pre-probates when most of them are just going to end up in probate anyway? Well, it's called striking the iron while it's hot, you see, and you don't know when that iron's hot. That iron may be hot right when they die. If they've inherited it via trust and they'd be able to sell right now, that iron might be hot 2 months down the road. Average person that dies will not, their loved ones that are left behind typically do not file probate for the first 1 to 3 months is about when they file probate. The average person will file probate about 1 to 3 months after the death. So think about it. You get it during the pre-probate process, right? It's about 1 to 3 months before they file probate. So you might be thinking, that's a long timeline. I've got to get the property went and they pass. If they have to go through probate, they haven't even started the process. Then they've got to go through that process. But you know what? It's okay because being first at the door is imperative. It's almost just as imperative as being last at the door. Most people that do marketing campaigns will do one mailer and stop if they don't get any results. And that is the absolute worst thing that you can do when you market to probate and pre-probates and anything that's going to be on a longer timeline, right? You want to market to them over and over and over for a longer process because they're going to be going through a process. So you want to hit them first. You want to hit them again when they file probate. And see, you don't know when that is unless you use both of our lead sources, right? You want to utilize both probate and pre-probate because there's a huge benefit. And you wouldn't believe the people that respond to your 5th, 6th, and 7th step mailing campaigns, okay? So let's move on. We'll talk about marketing in just a little bit. But those are the benefits of working a probate and pre-probates. Now let's talk about absentee owners. I'm hearing a lot of people talking about absentee owners that are high equity. And I want you guys to know we can customize our leads for you. Like absentee owners are really hot right now, guys. These are people that have a property, they own a property, but they do not live in the property full time, right? And when I say full time, here's what I mean. If you work absentee owners that are out of state, and if you are like, let's say in Florida, you're dealing with more of a snowbird situation, right? If you work properties that are in state, you're dealing with more of a landlord situation. Now, if they're out of state and you're like in Florida, like a sunshine state, you've got everybody coming down here a few months out of the year, right? They're living a few months here. They're living the rest of the time up north when it gets too hot here. So they're going back and forth. But if you work out of state, you're also dealing with landlords too in that situation. Now, if you work in state, you're dealing with more investors and landlords like yourself. I recommend absentee owners out of state because they're not in the physical state that the property is living in, but their property is in the state that you're in, but you can order them to where the owner is out of state so that their homesteaded property is not where you're physically located. What that means is, let's say they are in Florida, right? They're snowbirds, they can't go back and forth anymore. Mom gets sick, you know, they can't travel back and forth anymore, so they're gonna have to pick which state they're gonna live in. And 9 times out of 10, you guys, they're gonna pick to live by their children and their family up north, right? Most people want to die by their kids and their family because at the end of the day, that's really what matters is family. So out-of-state absentee owners are really, really good, and they can't maintain the property back and forth anymore. And if you're dealing with a landlord situation, you know, and if they're that far away to where they're out of state, they're not able to maintain the property anymore. We've got, if you're in Florida, you might have hurricanes, or California, you've got the earthquakes. I mean, there's all kinds of reasons they may be nervous that they're not wanting to manage the property anymore because it's too much of a headache and a stress because they can't physically be there to check on it. So, I mean, absentee owners are really hot today, guys. We also have inherited leads. Now, a lot of people get a little confused when we talk about our inherited leads because if they get them during the pre-probate process, of course, they've inherited it via trust, some of them, and they won't have to go through probate, right? So what's the difference between our inherited leads and working a pre-probate? Now, an inherited lead is clearly a person who inherits a property via a trust, and they do not have to put their property in probate, right? But remember I said earlier that most people who die, over 90% of the people that die, have to go through probate. But a small percentage of people, maybe 7 to 10, will actually inherit their property via a trust. So because the numbers are small, we like to increase those counts for you by making more out of our inherited leads. And that's what makes this different, is our inherited leads may also include completed probates, if we can get them in your area, completed probates. So if we can get the probates in your area, 9 times out of 10 we can, we'll include the completed probates in the inherited list, as well as family deed transfers. A family deed transfer is a property that was transferred from one family member to another in the amount of $0. So again, our inherited leads is made up of 3 different types of leads. It's a person who inherits a property via a trust, and they may not have to put their property through probate, right? They could probably sell that property now. Also includes completed probates, and it also will include family deed transfer, a property that was transferred from one family member to the other in the amount of $0. So again, that's 3 different types of leads on our inheritance. So it's advantageous for you to work pre-probate, probate, and inheritance, right? Because again, it's called striking the iron while it's hot. And you don't know when it's hot. It could be hot when they die. It could be hot when they're done, the paperwork's gone through and they've inherited their property and it's legal, it's gone through, everything's filed through the courts and they're ready to sell. Maybe hot when they file their probates, or it may be hot when they complete their probates, which again, we're going to talk later about our 6-step mailing campaign and why that's so important. But let's move on to divorce leads, guys. We also do divorce leads. Now remember, all of our leads are weekly and fresh and farmed for real estate. All these leads we've been talking about so far, except for the absentee owners, they're more a la carte. But the probate, the pre-probate, the inheritance, the divorce, these are all weekly and fresh, and they're all farmed for real estate. Now, a divorce lead is a divorce is a legal dissolution of a marriage by a court or other competent body. When the divorce is filed, we will verify that there is real estate owned and provide you with the information 1 week later. Sorry, guys, didn't mean to skip ahead like that. Now, divorce leads are great, guys. It's for a couple who's filed for a divorce last week. We have verified that there's real estate attached, and we're giving the lead to you this week. Divorces are fantastic, guys, because when they own property, as far as leads are concerned, I certainly don't mean the divorces are fantastic, but as far as leads are concerned, because what happens when a husband and a wife files for a divorce, the property has to go through the divorce too, right? Because they own a property and they're probably going to be fighting over the assets. Now you come in as an investor or a realtor. If you're a realtor, obviously you're going to go after the listing. And if you're an investor, you're going to go after the purchase or the wholesale, right? So you can contact the Mr. and Mrs. Smith right now, letting them know that you're interested in purchasing that property for cash right now. And it will help them alleviate all the stress that they're under about having to put this property through the whole entire bitter divorce process. And they may be able to resolve this issue quickly and in a timely manner and dissolve of this property before the divorce goes through, so that they can split the assets up and not have to have a nasty bitter divorce fighting over the property, right? So that's the reason why divorces are really good, guys. And all of our leads are weekly and fresh and farmed for real estate. Now, list pendants. A list pendants is what a lot of people think a list pendants is, pre and ODs, but a pre and OD is something completely different. So we call list pendants a pre-foreclosure, right? Because a foreclosure is an auction. So we call the list pendants a pre-foreclosure. It's when a homeowner stops making payments on a mortgage. The mortgage has a specific procedure that it follows to take the property back. This procedure will differ according to state and county in which the property is located, but if a lender finds out that a homeowner is in default on their mortgage payment and the two parties are unable to resolve the issue of the outstanding debt, then the plaintiff, the lender, and the plaintiff has the right to file a lawsuit known as the list pendants against the homeowner. So again, the plaintiff has the right to file a lawsuit known as the list pendants against the homeowner. This is a pre-foreclosure. And if you are in Florida, we are daily and fresh with the list pendants. If you are outside of Florida, we typically are weekly or monthly with the pre-foreclosures. But pre-foreclosures are fantastic, guys. Now, on the pre-foreclosures, guys, just so you know, all of our leads are exportable. So when you log into foreclosuresdaily.com and you log in and you export like probates, pre-probates, inheritance, code violations, evictions, All of these leads are exportable and onto an Excel spreadsheet. And if you are interested in pre-foreclosures out of state, we're going to email those leads to you on an Excel spreadsheet too. So all of the leads that we have to offer are exportable, so you can upload them into your CRM that you're currently using. And we have many capabilities to upload. We have Excel option, we have CSV, and we also have the Avery 8160 label options. So those are just some of the options we have for exporting, just so you guys know. Now here's how the leads can help you if you are an investor. It can help you get properties for wholesale prices, obviously. If you are a realtor, this can help you gain listings. And if you are a realtor, this can also help the investors that come to you to buy properties, as well as help you with your personal investing as well, because I know a lot of you realtors out there today are also investors yourselves. If you are an attorney, this can help you gain business for your law firm and your personal investing. I can't tell you how many attorney law firms we have helped with our pre-probates, because if you're an attorney and you're a probate attorney, you can work these pre-probate leads into letting them know that you're offering to become their acting attorney on their probate case and help them file their probates. So that's the difference on how it can help you as an attorney, as well as the pre-foreclosures as well. Now, if you're a mortgage broker, this can help you get refinances and loan modifications for your personal investing as well. Now, if you're a first-time home buyer, guys, we've helped a lot of first-time home buyers get their properties at discounted prices. Now, let's talk to the marketing, guys. Let's get into the guts of marketing, because this is what most of you are on the call for, is to learn about the marketing, okay? Now, we here at Foreclosures Daily recommend at least a 6-step mailing campaign, okay? A 6-step mailing campaign. And go ahead and take a picture of your screen. And I don't know what you're using a phone. If you're using a phone, you can swipe to the right or the left and do like a screenshot. If you're on your laptop, take a picture of your laptop with your phone or your desktop. But take a picture of this, because this is a 6-step mailing campaign instructional to teach you how to do your mailing if you fall under one of these categories. Let me give you an example. Let's say, because not everybody's marketing budget is the same, right? Let's say that you're a beginning investor and you only have enough to do a 3-step mailing campaign. Foreclosure Daily has put together a marketing campaign for you to show you how to do your 3-step mailing campaign if that's all your marketing budget allows you right now. Now, I've used October, November, December, January, February, and March as examples, but I'm certainly not telling you to wait till October to do your mailings, guys. I actually had somebody ask me that after one of the webinars. Hey, you know, it's January. Do I have to wait till October to do my mailers because your slideshow says October? Absolutely not, guys. You need to start your mailing right away, okay? I just use these as months for examples, okay? So now this is a 3-step mailing campaign. Now, October, November, skip December, and mail in January. What I just did there is I turned a 3-step mailing campaign into a 4-step mailing campaign, because you want to try to stretch that out as far and as long as you possibly can, right? Now, if your marketing budget only allows you to do a 4-step mailing campaign, you want to mail out October, November, December, skip January, and mail February, right? So you're turning it into a 5-month mailing campaign. But notice how I'm keeping October, November, December together this time, and I'm not skipping one of those. I'm skipping the one after, because the cream of the crop, guys, honestly, is to mail every single month for the next 6 months. So I'm going to try to keep you as close together as I possibly can on these instructions. Now, on a 5-step mailing campaign, if all your marketing budget allows you to do on a 5-step mailing campaign, you want to do October, November, December, January. Again, I'm keeping you really close together. Skip February and mail in March, and you have just turned this into a 6-month mailing campaign, because you've utilized your 5-step and skipped a month and made it into 6 months, right? Now, if you have a marketing budget that does allow you, which is fantastic, guys, to do a 6-step mailing campaign, the best thing you can do is every month for 6 months straight, every single month. So if you mail October 15th, mail that same list again, November 15th, December 16th, January 15th, February 15th. Now listen to me, if the 15th falls on a Sunday, clearly you're going to have to move your mail day up by a day or two, just to be in on a specific day. You don't want to, clearly you can't mail on a Sunday. So, I mean, that's going to fluctuate. But what I would recommend is, believe it or not, guys, if you don't have a CRM, and you're just starting out, and I know a lot of you guys are, and Foreclosures Daily is we're sensitive to that, so we've thought of everything for you. I would start out using Excel if that's all you have, and just if the columns are consistent. So when you download, let's say you buy probates and you download your probates every week, the columns stay consistent with us, so you can just copy and paste each of your leads each week onto the same spreadsheet, right? So like you take last week's spreadsheet, you save it onto your computer, and when you download this week's spreadsheet, you just paste it right underneath, because the columns are going to always be consistent. And I say add some extra columns to the right, guys, and put dates down there, when you mailed them last, when they got to be mailed again, and just kind of try to keep track of it that way until you can afford to get a CRM, okay? So that's the 6-step mailing campaign instructional. Don't worry, I'm going to send everybody a copy of the slideshow presentation on the marketing, so that way you guys kind of have that 6-step mailing campaign instructional. It's going to come on your bonuses, okay? So you don't have to worry if you weren't able to get a screenshot of this. Now, consistent marketing is absolute key, you guys. Consistency and patience is absolute key. And remember, the early bird gets the worm, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. You want to be first, and you want to be last. You want to be like that commercial on TV, okay? When you go onto your computer, your TV, your phone, your radio, everywhere, and you're hearing that ad over and over and over. I mean, I don't know where you guys are located, but I'm in Florida. In Florida and Georgia, we're always hearing like Morgan & Morgan, the law attorney firm, we're the people, for the people. You want to be like that commercial on TV, because guess what? When we get into an accident around here, the first person we think of is Morgan & Morgan. And you know, you want to be that person in their mailbox. You want to be in their face. You want to be on their phone. You want to be in their Facebook. You want to be all over these people. Consistent marketing is key. You are the name that they're going to remember when they get ready to sell their house. Now let's talk about that. You want to surround your seller, okay? Surrounding your seller is extremely utmost important thing that you can do when you're talking about working these leads. I'm going to give you some amazing links at the end of this webinar, okay? So if anything, you stay on this call until the very end of this webinar, because we're not selling anything, guys. We're a lead provider. We provide leads. I'm not selling a boot camp. I'm not selling a training. We're giving all of this free information to you so that it can help you utilize the leads that you currently have or are going to get from us, or whatever you want to do. But this is only free content that we put together for the 15, 16 years that we've been in business doing this, that we've compiled together from some of the hottest investors and from the strongest 50-year-old investors that have been doing this for so long, seasoned, stellar investors and coaches. We've taken all this information and compiled onto these slideshows for you, for everything that we have learned all these years on what works and what doesn't work. And I'm telling you right now, consistency and patience is a key. Early bird gets the worm, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. And guys, the squeaky wheel gets the grease is true for everything in life. I incorporate that into my job. I incorporate that into my personal life. I incorporate that into my kids, my family, my parents, every single person I talk to. Because listen, I was that mom in the school that would call the guidance counselor to make sure that my kids are doing everything that they're supposed to do, and did they get everything for the college forms that they needed, and can I email all their teachers to make sure the work's being turned in. And I was that crazy mom, right? But you know what? Both of my kids graduated with stellar grades, and the guidance counselor talked to me one day, and when she finally met me in person, she said, you know what, Tangi, your kids graduated because of you. Because you just called and called and called and stayed on me and stayed on me and stayed on the teachers. And your kids got more attention in that school than anybody did. They got one-on-one tutoring. So trust me when I tell you, the squeaky wheel gets the grease in every single thing you do in life, your business, your job, your personal life, especially in marketing, okay? You want to be first, and it is just important to be last. I can't tell you the percentage rate of the people that will respond to you in your 5th, 6th, and even 7-step mailing campaigns. I've got a guy who mails for a year straight, and he still gets probate deals after 9, 10, 11, and 12 months. Because if these people are still going through this situation and they still have this property, they need to sell it to somebody, okay? And when you're gone, somebody else is going to be right there to pick up that low-hanging fruit that you left by dropping your mailing campaigns. If you get a list from us after all this is said and done, and you mail one time and 3 weeks later you stop because you didn't get responses, then shame on you. you might as well just hand us your money and walk away. Because if that's all you're going to put into your business, that's really all that you're going to expect back, because you're not, which is not much, by the way. Because if you're not putting that much into your business, you're not going to get back what you're barely anything at all. You are going to get back what you put in. Now let's talk about surrounding your seller. You get the list, right? The first thing you want to do is you want to skip trace it. You want to skip trace it. You want to get their home phone. You want to get their cell phone. You want to get their email address, right? Now, you want to mail them marketing, postcard, letter, whatever you decide, okay? And you can mix that up over the next 6 months, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But you want to call their home phone, leave a message. You want to call their cell phone. You want to text them. You want to email them. You want to find them on Facebook and their family members, right? If for some reason you only have the decedent's name, you want to find their family members on Facebook. You want to do whatever you can to surround your seller, right? So you want to call them, text them, email them, mail them, like snail mail, hand mail, marketing by hand, okay? And you want to Facebook them. You want to surround your seller at all aspects, because you want to be that person that they call when they're ready to sell. And I guarantee you, nobody else is doing this. If there's anybody doing this, it might be in the 1/10 of a percentile. Barely anybody's going to be doing this. And if you are doing this, you're going to be the one that gets all the deals, okay? Squeaky wheel gets the grease. So I'm going to provide some really good links for you guys to do those skip tracing, to do your mailing, and to design and create websites, all kinds of different things later on in the presentation. These are the types of leads you want to market to for 6 months. Go ahead and take a picture of this. Somebody on the call asked me my name, and I said I wasn't going to do any Q&A during the call, but while you're taking a picture of the slideshow, my name is Tangi Cousins. I did the introductions in the end. I'm so sorry if you missed that, but my name is Tangi Cousins. All right, guys. So probates, pre-probates, divorce leads, inheritance, list pendants, and code violations. Make sure you get a picture of this, because this will not be sent out with your bonuses. These are the types of leads that you want to mail to for 6 to 7 months, because these are the types of leads that are going through a process. Are all of these going to take 6 or 7 months? Absolutely not. Some may take 1, some may take 2, some may take 3, some may take a year. Who knows? But you want to be marketing to them during this whole process. So people always say, well, should I mail an absentee owner 6 times? Absolutely not. Not right away, not right in a row. And let me tell you why. Now, an absentee owner, let's say that you have an extra property, right? And you're a landlord. Would you want me sending you a letter 6 times right in a row? Of course not. You're not in any form of distress. You don't have to sell your property. You just happen to have an extra property. You're a professional person who's a grown adult who has an extra property that has absolutely probably no desire to sell right now, or you may or may not. Who knows? Hopefully you do, right? But you're not going to need 6 mailers to me to figure that out. So what I recommend people do on absentee owners is send a letter now, maybe send a letter a few months down the road just to check in. Don't badger your absentee owners, you guys. They're not going through a process, right? When you buy the absentee owner list from us, you'll have it again next year. You can mail them every year for the next 5 years if you want, because they may be in a situation where they're a landlord and they may not want to sell right now, but they might in 6 months. Or they may be in a situation they want to sell right now, and your first mailer is going to hit them and bam, they're going to sell. But you don't want to badger your lists that are not desperate situations to sell, right? So these are the types of leads that you want to be consistent with your mailing. Just think of it this way. Anybody that's going through a process, that's who you want to mail to for a long period of time, okay? Now, the next thing I want to talk about, I could get my clicker to work here. Sorry, guys. is I want to talk about unique marketing techniques. Unique marketing techniques. Now, using unique marketing techniques will help ensure that your mail gets opened, right? Different size and different shaped envelopes, such as wedding invitations, birthday cards. I'm sure you guys have been hearing that for a really long time, right? That's what everybody tells you to do. Oh, use a different shaped envelope, use different shaped cards, you know, do wedding invitations, birthday cards, etc. Those are all great, guys. Colored letters, such as yellow letters, they still work today. Yellow letters have been proven, tested, and tried to work, and they work fantastic, guys. They really do stand true. The percentage of response rate from yellow letters are still great today. You know, the national average response rate for foreclosure mailings is 1.5%. 1.5%, right? That's the percentage of people that's going to open your mail when you mail pre-foreclosures. 1.5%. You know that I got people getting 5, 10, and 15% with using the marketing techniques that we teach and using the mailers and the postcards and the letters that we teach. We have people getting 3, 5, 10, and 15% response rates on getting their mail open because we know how to get people to open your mail for our leads, okay? Handwritten envelopes are fantastic, you guys. Think about the lead that you're working and think, do I want to handwrite the envelope? Is this a personal situation that they're going through? Of course, probates is a very personal situation, and it's a very sensitive and delicate matter. So when you definitely want to handwrite your envelopes when you're mailing letters to probates, okay? Now, if you don't have the time to handwrite your envelopes, I'll bet you have a niece or nephew that does have time to handwrite their letters, or teenage children that may want to make 50 bucks a month handwriting your envelopes. Sorry about that. Handwrite your envelopes, handwrite your letters. You might have outsourcing that you might be able to do. If you can't handwrite your letters, you may want to outsource it, right? And have somebody else handwrite your letters. I know a lot of husband and wife teams where the husband will get the leads and he'll be the go-getter on the ground, and then she'll be in her office doing the handwritten marketing for them. So, I mean, I know a lot of husband and wife teams that are doing it that way, but you know, think about it. Even your family members and their kids, you know, you can pay them 50 bucks a month to handwrite your letters for you. And if you can't handwrite your letters and you can't afford to pay anybody to do it, at least handwrite your envelopes, right? Now, I've got people that will do a handwritten font, but they'll still have somebody handwrite their envelopes, right? And I got one guy, he has an older woman, right? An older woman do all of his envelopes, not the letters, right? Because she's older and she can't write that much, but he has an older woman handwriting all of his envelopes because her handwriting is shaky, and it's just an eye catcher. When people get the letter in the mail, they want to open it because it's a different handwriting, right? It's not real neat. It's kind of messy, you know, and the curiosity killed the cat type of deal. Other things that you can do is, I got one guy that used his school-age children to color on the envelopes to get people to open their mail, right? He's got them drawing little houses and a picture of a dog and a little person, you know, stick people all over the envelopes. That gets your handwritten letters open, right? Now, also, special markings and certain statements on the envelope. Could you imagine if you got a letter in the mail and you looked at the envelope and it said the word cash involved on the back of the envelope? Who's not going to open that? I want to know who is not going to open that letter. Every single person that gets that in their mail is going to open it because it has the word cash involved. Okay, a lot of people are afraid to send that because they're worried that it won't get past the post office, right? Remember, it's a federal offense if you open somebody else's mail, guys. You should not feel uncomfortable writing the word cash involved on that envelope because you're not putting money in it, because you're writing a cash offer. If you're wholesaling, chances are the person that you flip that to is going to pay cash for that property. If it makes you feel better, stick a penny in there, right? Also, dollar symbols. You don't have to write the word cash if you don't want to. You can just put dollar symbols and write the word involved. That way they know there's dollars involved inside the envelope, right? And you are offering dollars inside the envelope. You're offering to buy their property, guys. I have other people using like squishy mail or called lumpy mail. Some people are sticking like squishy balls in there and sending them out. You want to go above and beyond, guys. You want to think outside the box. Put yourself in their situation and say, What would I open if I was a person that had the property and I was checking the mail? What would catch my eye? There was a guy one time, I think he was trying to get a job at Google, and he was facing hundreds and thousands of other people going after the same job. And he took a shoe and he mailed it to, I want to say Google, it sticks in my head. He mailed it to, I think it was Google, and said, hey, I'm just trying to get my foot in the door. Do you know they hired him out of thousands and thousands and thousands other applicants? He got that job because he mailed them a shoe and said, hey, I'm just trying to get my foot in the door. You want to go outside the box, guys. You want to be that guy. And when you're doing your marketing, and think of what would make you want to open your mail, okay? So those are just some unique marketing techniques. Now I've got some letters here, all right? You're probably looking at my screen going, I can't even read that, right? Guess what, guys? That's exactly what my thoughts exactly was. I cannot read this. Somebody sent this letter for us to critique, and we asked him if we could use this on our slideshow, and he said yes. But they sent that letter to us, and they said, how's my marketing? And one of the first things I thought is, I can't even read your marketing. I have no idea how your marketing is because I can't even see it. So that's one of the first things that stuck out at me, right? Dear Miss Story, selling your house has never been easier. As discussed, I had no idea we talked before because this is their first mailing letter. As discussed, I can pay cash for your house. Well, hold on. This is your first mailer. What do you mean as discussed? Did you have a discussion prior? Because if that's the case, then this will be your second mailing campaign. And I put these in order, you guys. These are totally in order. So as discussed, I can pay cash for your house and you pocket all the money. No realty commissions make for a sweet sale. So we already know what's wrong with this letter, guys. He's referencing the fact that they previously discussed something when they clearly didn't. This is his first mailing campaign. So that's the first thing wrong with this. Not only that, you can't read it. Change your font to like Arial or a normal font where somebody can actually read it, instead of something like this where they can't read and it's just all jumber together, right? Now, the next one. Dear Miss Smith, I'm still interested in buying your house, as you know. I can pay cash, can close quickly, and you don't have to pay a real estate commission when you sell your house to me. Okay, that's just all gobble. I can't read it. So another thing, again, I can't read it. Dear Miss Story, I'm going to stumble at this because I had a hard time with this one. Quickly, that's what it says. Quickly selling your house can take away the strain of showing it to a lot of people you don't know. Well, hold on, because I'm pretty sure she don't know you either. You know? So that's another thing that's wrong with this marketing, is that person, if I'm reading this and I'm a owner, I'm immediately like, this guy's crazy. He sends me his first letter telling me as discussed, right? That's my first thinking. And then I get another letter from him that I can't read. And then I get a third one from him that tells me that sell your house to me because you don't want to sell to people you don't know. Clearly, we don't know each other either, right? So that's another problem. And here's his fourth mailing campaign. Dear Miss Story, are you still interested in selling your house? Remember, I can pay cash close. No, I didn't see too much wrong with this one, guys, but this is terrible. Never, ever, ever use fancy font that your homeowner's not going to be able to read, okay? Fancy's not better. Simple, basic, generic, right to the point. Arial, just regular, normal font that's going to stand out that they can actually read. You don't want to send something to them that they are not even going to be able to read. Okay, so those are just some things. Here's our letter, guys. Okay, this is one of the letters that we recommend. The reason I'm contacting you is I understand there may be a property for sale. If there is real estate for sale, I would like to buy your property. I can close fast cash as is in less than 30 days. You can even leave the unwanted items in your house. You don't even have to clean, update, rehab, repair the property. I will buy the property just the way that it is. If this sounds like something you may be interested in, please contact me back immediately. Let's talk about this letter, okay? This is simple, basic, short, sweet, legible, right to the point. Hopefully you're going to handwrite this or use handwritten font that is legible. But here's what we're not addressing. We're not addressing their situation, right? So nobody's going to say anything like, My deepest condolences about your recent loss. Oh, and by the way, my wife and I are building our income portfolio for our residual income for when we retire, and we're interested in buying your property to increase that. That actually has a letter that somebody sent to me asking me to critique. And let me tell you, I critiqued it. We threw it right away. You never want to talk about somebody's unfortunate situation in your marketing, because immediately you're bringing up negativity in your marketing. And you don't ever want to bring something negative up when you're talking to somebody about purchasing their property, because number one, you're going to make them very mad. You're going to infuriate them, especially if it's a pre-probate and they just lost a loved one last week. Number one, you're apologizing for somebody dying that you didn't even know, which is fine, guys, when you're in person, when they invite you to their property. But never bring up negative feelings when you're reading a letter. So when you're reading this letter, do you see anything negative? No, you only see positive. Negative is, I understand you're facing foreclosure. Why would you bring their situation up that's negative? Because you're only going to create a negative emotion when they're reading your letter, which is going to anger them. Notice that our letter never brings up anything negative. It only has positive. You're fixing their problems. You're fixing their problems, and you're finding solutions for all their problems. Here's what they got. They got a property that they inherited, but they inherited a big problem. They inherited a tax bill. They inherited another house to take care of, another grass to cut. They inherited possibly a mortgage payment. They inherited a lot of things, you guys. They didn't just inherit a property. They inherited a big, huge headache of a house full of somebody else's stuff that they now have to get rid of, with old horse and buggy wallpaper that they now have to rip off, paneling walls, linoleum flooring, and they inherited a rehab. So in their mind, they're thinking, I can't sell this house. I've got to hang on to this for like 6 months. Oh my God, it's a disaster. And guess what? They didn't know they could sell the house until they got this letter right here that says, hey, don't clean, don't pick up, don't rehab, don't repair. I'll buy it just the way it is. Do you know they didn't know that? Because they're too busy thinking about their life and what just happened. And oh my God, what am I going to do? And do you know how many people lose their house in foreclosure that got inherited to them? Their parents worked all their lives to get them this probated property. Now it's going to be foreclosed on because they can't afford the probates. Which leads me to my next point. I had a guy send this letter that I taught him to send, and he runs a wholesaling investment company with 5 or 6 employees. He has acquisitions, he has a sales side, he's got the people that answer the phones, and I taught his team to send this letter, and he added one sentence that got him 5 wholesale deals in 3 weeks. Want to know what that sentence is? I know everybody on this call does. Oh, and by the way, I can even help you pay for your probates if you need some financial assistance. He put that in his letter, and he had 5 wholesale deals in 3 weeks. Now, it doesn't always happen this quick, guys, but it did for him. Every single person that called him said, hey, we called you because we can't afford $2,000 for our probates, or $1,500, or whatever it may be in your county, because all areas are different, okay? Now, let me drop some golden nuggets. What he did is he hooked himself up with a local attorney in the Tampa area, and he said, look, I'm working probate and I'm working pre-probate, and I've got a lot of people who can't afford their probate, but I can afford their probate. But I don't want them to sell the property out from underneath me after I pay for their probate. So what they did is they drew up a contract, just a regular contract, guys, purchase contract to buy the house, basically states that they cannot sell that property to anybody else but him when the judge signs off. But we all know contracts don't hold up sometimes, right, guys? So he took it a step further, and he goes down to the courthouse, and he files a memorandum of interest, right? An affidavit of interest, basically stating, it's clouding the title, that he has a financial interest in the property. I'm sure a lot of you know exactly what an affidavit of interest is, or a memorandum of interest, but if you don't know, it basically clouds a title, and it's got him on there so that they cannot sell that property without him signing off. So that's how he gets them, right? And he got 5 wholesale, and he is the guy that got that property for $26,000, only put 10 into it and sold it for $150. And he also wholesaled the other ones and made a lot of money. So if you add that sentence, that's fine. And now what he did is he negotiated with the attorney and he said, look, I'll bring you these leads. I want you to close these deals fast, cheap, and for a one-time flat rate fee. She's like, fine, I'll do it for $1,500. You put $750 down in the beginning. You have to pay the filing fees and the processing fees, and you don't have to pay the other $750 until the judge signs off. Deal. Now she's closing all of his probates for him in less than 2 months for only $1,500. Not every state is like that, but some states are, some states aren't. You'll have to get with your local attorney and find out and find out from the courts how much everything costs to do a probate. Let's go on to the next letter, guys, okay? We got a lot of stuff to get through still in a very short amount of time. Let's talk about the do's and don'ts of marketing. We've already talked about this. Never talk about their unfortunate situation. Offer solutions, overcome their fears, address their concerns, and fix their problems. That's all your marketing should do. Sometimes short, simple, basic, sweet, right to the point. If you're a realtor, you want to pay close attention to this letter. I don't recommend doing to the family members of John Smith anymore. I actually need to change the slide to say to the Smith family because it's a lot less aggressive. So just to the Smith family, okay? To the family members of John Smith, this kind of sounds a little bit morbid, so I want to change that to say to the Smith family. Hi, my name is Jane Doe. I'm a local realtor with RE/MAX. I would like to help you sell your property at 2000 Smith Avenue. If you would like to sell the property or just know the value of your property for free, please call me. Now listen, you see what I did here? If you would like to sell the property or just know the value of your property for free, do you know how many of these people want to know the value of their property for free? A lot, guys. So if you have an in with a realtor, or if you're a realtor, this is something you definitely want to add to get your foot in the door. The bottom line is your job is to get that marketing piece to them, to get your phone to ring. So if you have to offer to let them know the value for free as a realtor, then do it, because that's going to get you the listing. I wrote this letter for a realtor, and she's one of our testimonials. Her name is Peggy, and she got 3 listings in 2 weeks from sending this letter out. She did a handwritten letter, but you could technically put this right on a postcard, guys. She offered to tell them the value of their property for free, and a lot of them called her. Now, let's talk about simple marketing. Again, we want to do to the Smith family, not to the family members of John Smith. Hi, my name is Dave Turner. I'm interested in your property at 5500 Spring Lake Square. Please let me know if you're interested in selling or you know anybody in the area who is. I like to call that simple, basic, and sweet, right to the point. Very generic. Sometimes less is better, okay? Again, sometimes less is better, guys, okay? The less you say, the better. Simple, basic, right to the point. Works all the time, guys. This letter works fantastic and yields great to 10 to 15% response rates is what I'm hearing, okay? Now, let's go to a 3-touch mailing campaign. One of our guys takes the first touch, and he takes a small card in an envelope, and he just writes down, hand writes, I'm interested in the property on Hermitage Square. If you're interested in selling, please call me. He's getting 15% response rates with these. His second touch, another card in another small card in an envelope. I sent you this letter about a month ago. I love this, guys, because everybody wants to know, what do I put in my second letter, in my third letter, in my fourth letter, in my fifth letter? And here's what I teach them. You don't have to change your letter. You can use the same letter every time. The only thing that has to change is adding a sentence to it that says, hey, I sent you a letter about a month ago expressing interest in the property. Do you still have it? Have you considered selling yet? If so, please give me a call. Notice that it's the same thing. It's just saying, hey, I sent you this about a month ago. Now, third touch, he completely changes his tune. And he basically shouts it out, hey, I'm an investor in the local area with a company, right? He totally switches gears from an investor to an investing company. Hey, we're a local investing company purchasing properties in a few select areas. If you need or want to sell or you know anybody who may, please give us a call. See, guys, 3 touch, and he's getting 10 and 15% response rates with these mailers. So he's doing really good. And he can only do a 3-step mailing campaign. So this is what he chose to do. And it's working really well for him. The guy's sitting on like 5 deals already. And he just started. Now listen, I'm going to skip through a couple of these slides, guys, but that are not so important because I want to get to the links, because the links page is something I added to my presentation. And I didn't allot for the time for it. So I'm gonna skip a couple of slides here and there. But let's talk about some exit strategies on these properties. The exit strategies that are working really well right now, there are several profitable exit strategies that are working very well right now in this market. And the number one exit strategy today, can anybody guess? Wholesaling, right? Everybody's wholesaling today and everybody wants to be a wholesaler, right? Wholesaling is when you quickly flip a contract to an investor for quick cash without expending any of your own money. Guys, if you want to be a wholesaler, let me tell you something. And the seasoned investors on this call are about to really appreciate what I'm going to say. If you want to be a wholesaler, you have to learn to estimate rehab and repair costs, okay? Again, this goes back to your training on your job. Part of your job as being a wholesaler is knowing how to estimate rehab and repair costs. Can anybody guess why? Because when you try to quickly flip your contract to a seasoned investor for quick cash and you don't leave any skin in the game, they're not going to deal with you again. And if you don't know what you're doing, don't wholesale the property yet. Learn how to estimate the rehab and repair cost, because there's only so many investors at your local RIA group that are seasoned, and guess what? They're all friends. And if you start bringing properties to them and you're trying to take too much of a profit and not leave enough meat on the bone for the person that's going to fix and flip that property, they're not going to deal with you, and they're going to tell everybody else not to either. So you need to know how to quickly estimate rehab and repair cost, so that when you're estimating these properties and you bring it to the seasoned investor, you can say, hey, here's the property, here's what the ARV is going to be, here's how much it's going to cost to fix it. And this is what, you're going to make like 10,000 and 50. Listen, it's okay if you only make 10 or 15 and he makes 60. He's the one doing all the work. $10,000 4 or 5 times a month. I'll do that all day long. You need to totally readjust your formula if you don't know how to estimate rehab and repair costs, because you're going to upset the locals and you're not going to have anybody to wholesale your properties to. So get trained on how to estimate rehab and repair costs. Very important, guys. I know I'm passionate about that, but I've seen it so much at my local RIA clubs, and the wholesalers and the seasoned investors are just not getting along these days, because that's a problem. It's a huge problem, okay? Now, retailing. Retail buyers are coming back in the market today because of historically low mortgage rates, price appreciation, and the tax credits. So retailing is a really good way to have an exit strategy on your property, so you can list that with a real retailer. I'm sorry, you can list that with a realtor and put it on the market and sell that property really, really well after you fix it up. Now, lease with the option to buy. Let me tell you something, guys. This is huge, and I mean, this is a hidden golden nugget that not so many people are wholesaling these days. Everybody's forgetting about lease option. Many would-be buyers currently have very poor credit, but what they have is money, right? For a down payment on a property, but they don't have any credit, so they have to kind of take what they can get, right? So they're limited on what they can buy, where they can buy it, and who they can buy it from. Let me give you an example. Ben and Jen, they've been renters for 10 years. They both have really good jobs, or 5 years, right? They both have really good jobs and they want to buy a house, right? But their credit is destroyed. It's like in the 500s, okay? Their beacon scores are like totally low and they can't get a loan from anybody. And they're in a situation where they have all this money saved up because they've worked for 5 years and they've rented for 5 years and they have all this money now, $15,000, $20,000, and they can buy a property, but they can't because they don't have any credit. Now you have got a property that you just fixed up, right? And you're gonna rent it with a lease with the option to buy. You're gonna lease the property with the option to buy. And you know what you get? $10,000 down with the option to buy, right? Lease with the option to buy. They put 10 grand down. Guess what happens in 5 more years or 2 years or 3 years? All of a sudden they've got really good credit. And you know what happens when they got really good credit? They can buy any house they want now. They don't have to stay in your house. So 2 years go by, they're gone. You know who gets to keep the 10,000? You. And you can do that over and over and over and over with the same house. I've got a guy who makes a living off lease with the option to buy. He got himself a honey hole. He got 5 properties, and that's all he does on his 5 properties. He don't have to wholesale. He don't have to fix and flip. He's got 5 properties. He's going to lease option for the rest of his life. And he has all that residual income coming in every single month. And every time somebody moves out, $10,000 right in his pocket. That's an absolute gold mine for exit strategies, guys. Now, rental. If you buy right over the long term, this is a great cash flowing strategy where you can reap the annualized returns up to 20% per year or more on renting properties. All right, guys, there's a testimonial. The girl that won a free month at one of our local RIA meetings, and she said that she only had bought a house from a realtor before. She was trying to be investor, and she hit 1 month for free at a local RIA event. We did a drawing, something we never do, and we gave her a free month of service because she won it. And she ended up, and by the way, mailing to her was absolutely foreign. She never mailed a list at all. And I helped her learn her mailing campaigns and taught her how what I'm teaching you today. And she, guys, she did it. She used the list, and she got a property, and she got a renter in there. And a year or 2 later, the renter decided to buy her property because they liked it so much. And she took that and turned it into a 1031 exchange, and she invested into 2 more investment homes. So she turned 1 deal into 2 deals. Now she's sitting on 5 probates, and she had never invested before in her life until winning that free month. And she said, as a newbie, she really couldn't believe how mailing letters would turn out to be one of her best deals yet. She highly recommended Foreclosures Daily, and she is one of the top testimonials on our site. There's a video, and you can even reach out to her. Her name's Amanda Young, and she's on Facebook, and she'll help you out in any way she can. She's a fantastic girl, been using our probates for years. I'm not going to bore you with all these testimonial guys. I want to get right to the links because we are running out of time. So let's talk about these links, okay? Now, skip tracing. Who should you use for skip tracing? There's so many skip tracing services out there today, right? Take a picture of this slideshow, guys. Sorry, I'm taking a drink of water. This is actually going to be included in with your bonuses, is these next couple of slides with all these really good links. Now, we were talking earlier about surrounding your seller. Now, there's a couple of free ones out there. If you go to www.truepeoplesearch.com, that is a free skip tracing service, you guys. Absolutely free skip tracing service. And you would not believe how accurate they are, okay? Now, people.com, and it's not P-E-O-P-L-E, it's P-I-P-L. It's www.pipl.com. That's also another free skip tracing service. But if you want some of the really good ones, you can go to that are not free. You do have to pay for it. Well, the reason I say good is because they'll give you the home phone, the cell phone, and the email. Is skiptracelists.com, and that's plural. Skiptracelists.com. They will give you the cell phone, the home phone, and the email. I think it's like 30-some cents each. And then there's also a really good one right next to that, and that's batchskiptracing.com and datafinder.com. And guys, those are like 30 or 40 cents each. I don't know, you'd have to look it up, but those are just some skip trace services that I researched for you and found out that they're really good. And I found out from several other investors that are using these lead skip tracing services now, and they said they're fantastic. Now, if you look at skiptracelist.com, batchskiptracing.com, and datafinder.com, after all that, you take all the ones that they could not find phone numbers on, and then you go right down here to www.americanskiptracers.com. Expensive, but they find 65% of all the ones that you could not find with the other companies, okay? Very expensive again, but like I said, they're going to find 65% of the ones you couldn't find with the other companies. Now, I cut a deal Foreclosures Daily cut a deal with GoBigPrinting.com, right? And GoBigPrinting.com, the owner is Andy Detweiler. And Andy and I have been going back and forth for the past few months, and I finally cut a deal with him on Friday to do your guys' marketing postcards for like 38 to 42 cents. 38 cents on the minis and 38 to 42 on the property street view postcard. Now listen to me, you guys. This is important. Nobody does street view postcards for 38 cents. Nobody. It's unheard of, okay? It is absolutely unheard of. They're not making money by you doing this. They're hoping that you will use them for your other list, your bulk leads that you have for other things. So they're doing this as a personal favor to Foreclosures Daily. If you go to www.gobigprinting.com/Tangi, that's Foreclosures Daily store. And if you get postcards that we recommend from there, there's certain ones that they will give you for 38 cents all the way to 42 cents. And they are also offering to do the handwritten letter that I talked to you about, our letter, or one that you customize, depending on which it is. They can do it for 64 cents. It's handwritten font, guys. Handwritten font, 64 cents. I've never been able to find that below 99 cents. And as far as the postcard, there's other companies out there doing the same street view property postcard for 59 cents. I'm going to show you these postcards in just a minute and the handwritten letter with a font and let you know. Anybody that knows this business knows that that's priceless what I'm doing for you right there. What we're doing for you right there is priceless. You are not going to get marketing any cheaper than that. So there's a couple other companies out there that we recommend, like A3marketingletters.net. They'll actually handwrite your letter for you instead of using the handwritten font. And then there's also the bulk one, more like click to mail. But the big main one is gobigprinting.com/Tangi. That's TANGIE. And that'll take you to the marketing store. That property street view postcard will be ready in 2 days. Okay, 2 days. Okay, 2 days. What's going to happen when you go to gobigprinting.com/Tangi? You want to register as a user because they're going to email you and notify you when that postcard's ready in a couple days. We're about to see some samples of it in just a moment. Now, email blasting. A lot of you don't know this, but Gmail actually came out with GMass. And for 20 to 30 bucks is what I'm hearing, GMass will email blast out 2,000 people for you, okay? 2,000 people for 20 to 30 bucks is what I'm hearing. GMass, it's like a new program, I guess. Now, if you're interested in ringless voicemails, dropcowboy.com is a really good one. And getrvmleads.com is also doing 5 cents a drop, and you get 500 drops for free. So utilize that, guys. When you skip trace your list, send over those 500 numbers to them and let them do the 500 drops for free for you as a trial, okay? Now, live operators. I got a guy, here's what he does. He has people call his phone. Press 1 if you have a house for sale. Press 2 if you don't. Now, if you press 2, it just hangs up on you, okay? Because we don't want to talk to them, right? But if they press 1, it goes to a live operator, and they screen the call with questionnaires for you that you've created, and they ask these questions for you. And by the time the lead gets to you, it's really hot, right? So what they do is they get the skip trace the phone numbers, right? And they send out all this marketing with a phone number on it. And when people call in the number, it says press 1 if you have a house for sale, press 2 if you don't. If they press 1, it goes to like Pat Live or Call Porter, right? And they live screen them, and they ask them a series of questions for you so that they know if it's a good lead to send over to you. If they press 2, it just hangs right up on them, right? Because we don't want to talk to them. We only want to talk to the people that want to sell their property, okay? So anyways, that guy does that, and he presses 2, and it just hangs right up on him. He said you wouldn't believe the people that actually press 1 just to tell them off. So anyways, Those are some live operators, guys. We got patlive.com. Call Porter is really good is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing a lot of the investors say Call Porter is fantastic. We also have Answer First. And then the website, oncarrot.com is really good to create your website. That's oncarrot.com. All right, we got to get going here, guys. I'm going to show you a couple of examples of these postcards. These are the postcards they're designing for us right now for you guys. Now, these postcards can be sent out for 38 to 42 cents each, and that's with postage, guys. Yes, with postage, 38 to 42 cents each, and that's unheard of. Everybody else is doing it for 59 cents and above. I recommend putting on your, hey, is this your house? Are you interested in selling this? I can buy this property right now. So you want to put something on there like that. Is this your property? Are you selling this? They're going to look at the postcard and go, oh my God, it's a picture of my house. So, I mean, this is the postcard they're working on for you guys, okay? So if you go to gobigprinting.com/Tangi and you register, they're going to let you know when this postcard is ready, and you can buy your postcards from there, 38 to 42 cents for those property, live, street view postcards. We also have basic postcards on there. It just says, hey, I'm interested in buying in your area. Are you interested in selling? They'll do those mini postcards for you for only 38 cents. This is the handwritten font. Does this not look exactly like handwriting? This is a handwritten font that they're going to do for you. 64 cents with postage, guys. This is unheard of. So contact gobigprinting.com/Tangi to get the Foreclosures Daily discount, okay? Now listen, we've got to get on with this program. I need to open this up for Q&A in just a moment, but everybody's probably wondering what our pricing structure is. Let's say that you want probate leads and you want them for 3 months. We're going to do a discount tonight, guys. It's normally $750, but you can get it for only $599 for 3 months of probate leads, uploaded every single week, no more than 25 leads per week. Why? We have a cap on it because we have to know what to charge you. And do you know that most counties don't have 25 leads a week? Like Orange County, Florida, only 15 to 22 a week. Montgomery County, Maryland, you might get 25 there, but you might not in Delaware. I mean, every county is different, guys. You know, you're just never going to get more than 25 leads per week, per county, per service when it comes to probate, pre-probate, inheritance, divorce, code violations, and evictions. These prices are for each of those services, not all of them. And they're going to be uploaded every single week, and they're all promised to have property. Now, we do recommend a longer commitment, guys. Let me tell you something. If you make a longer commitment, you're going to work the list longer, you're going to work it stronger, and you're going to be forced to work it harder. Any human being that has more skin in the game tends to be way more successful because you're forcing yourself to work it for a 6-month period. So we recommend a 6-month period, which is only $9.99, and that'll save you $200. But the 35% off, if you want the biggest bang for your buck, we recommend that you buy the year for $1,750. Don't hang up on this call, guys. We're about to open this on Q&A, okay? I'm about to leave these slides, but listen to me. I don't want people wondering what the prices are when we're done because that's everybody always asks, so I made a whole slideshow of it. $1,750 for the year. That saves you $650. We do recommend a longer commitment. The people that make the longer commitments tend to be way more successful because you're in it to win it. You're making a commitment. I'm going to make this work. I'm going to stick with this for 6 months or a year. This is going to work. And by the way, Mr. Cantor, Steve Cantor, who owns the company, has offered for us to give you guys a free county tonight. Anybody who's on this webinar who calls or emails me or fills out our sales contract by Friday of this week will get a free county on the discounted prices. And now you guys all know, if you're on the mailings, that Mr. Cantor does the BOGOs, but he does them on list price. He's offering for me to do this on the discounted prices for this webinar only by Friday, period. So if you see these prices and you want to buy probates for a year for one of these counties, you can add a county for free this week and this week only, okay? Now, this price is for each of the leads. If you want probates and you want it for a year, it's $1,750. If you want free probates and you want it for a year, it's another $1,750. Now, I had a guy the other day buy 5 services. I dropped the price. I dropped the price down because if you're going to buy that many services, I'm going to drop the price for you And also, every time you add a county, guys, it's 50% off. So if you want a third county, I'll add it for you for half off of what you paid for the first county, okay? We'll take good care of you. The guy that bought the other day didn't get a free county. He paid $17.50 for his first county and $8.75 for the second. I mean, I dropped the price down for him, so he didn't have to actually pay $8.75 for a second, but I dropped the price down for him because he bought multiple services. Now, if you're in Florida and you want foreclosures, pre-foreclosures are daily and fresh, and they're updated every day. $4.79 for 3 months, $7.99 for 6 months, $12.99 for the year. A la carte leads, such as absentee owners with high equity, free and clear, tax leads. That's like 1,000 leads for $500. Now listen, guys, my email and phone number is at the bottom of this screen, Tangi@foreclosuresdaily.com. What's going to happen when we hang up after I open it up for Q&A in a few minutes? I'm going to email you all the bonuses that I promised you for being on this call. Here's what you're going to get. You're going to get all the marketing letters that you saw. You're going to get a 6-step mailing campaign instructional. You're going to get a phone script on how to negotiate with a seller. You're going to get a letter to email to the attorney. And you're going to get all those awesome links that were on the slideshows, okay, of how to do like your marketing, you know, where to go for skip tracing, where to go to set up your website, where to go for your ringless voicemail drops. You're gonna get all that emailed to you as soon as we hang up the call within the hour. Okay, guys? That's what's gonna happen. Now, anybody that signs up by Friday is gonna get a free county on the discounted rates. My number is 813-563-0005, extension 2. Now, if you'd like to text me or call me on my cell, it's 863-698-3550. That's 863-698-3550. You can text me random questions. You can call me. My office line is 813-563-0005, extension 2. And my email is Tangi@foreclosuresdaily.com. I'm going to show you something, guys. I'm going to share another screen here because I want to share the website with you and how to get your leads, okay? So just stand by. All right, so this is the website, you guys. All you're going to do if you get probate, pre-probate, inheritance, code violations, evictions, or divorce is you're going to go to foreclosuresdaily.com, see? And what you're going to do is you're going to hit login for additional data types. All right? And when you log in for additional data types, it's going to ask for an email, which is a user ID and passcode. And it's going to bring you over here to the property page. Let me see here. It's going to bring you right over here to a search screen. And you're going to be able to search, let's say, probates. Let me make sure that you guys can see what I'm seeing here. You're going to be able to search the probates. And you're going to put your criteria right in here, probates. Let's say Florida. We're nationwide, guys, but let's just put Florida in because that's where I'm sitting. Let's do Florida. We'll do like, let's say Hillsborough County. And then you just put your date ranges. Always do Wednesdays, guys, because we do the uploads every single Wednesday. All the other companies are quarterly and they're not farming for property, but we are weekly and fresh, so we have no competition. When you go with us, they could call that company on the same day, order the same leads for the same county. They're getting ours right away, weekly and fresh. They're not getting theirs for 3 months behind. And then you just export it to like CSV, and it downloads right to the bottom of your screen, right? And then you go over here and you open it up, and it opens right up into a spreadsheet like this, all right? And these are probate leads. So you've got the decedent's name, which is the person who died, the case number, the decedent's address, the legal description and mailing address, We get as much property appraiser's data as we can, guys. See this? We got property value, which is what is the property value? It's the tax assessed value of the property, what they're paying taxes on, right? We get bedrooms, baths, year built, type of property. And look, here's the PR. PR stands for personal representative. That's the person who's now in control of the property, you guys, okay? It is their job to liquidate the assets and settle the estate. 9 times out of 10, they're gonna go over to the property and check the mail once a week. So if for some reason you get a county that does not have the PR's names and addresses, don't freak. It's okay. People are 50 and 60 when they lose their parents. They're going to be responsible 99% of the time, and they're going to drive over once a week and check the mail at the house. So if you have to send a letter to the house and you have to put to the Smith family, that's fine. But if you pick a county that comes with the personal reps' names and addresses, these are where your mailers are going to go, right here to the PR. You can skip trace the PR's name too, guys, because we don't provide their phone numbers. So you can skip trace and try to get their phone numbers. Now remember, if you pick a county that doesn't have this, it's okay. It is their job to liquidate the assets and settle the estate, and 9 times out of 10, they're going to drive over, check the mail once a week. And if for some reason their parents live up north like mine, I'm going to have my mom's mail forwarded to me for 6 months to a year. You know, when she passes, and you know she will, but all of our parents are going to pass. That's inevitable, guys. But when our parents pass, hopefully we're responsible enough to check the mail. And even if we can't, we are told to have it forwarded for 6 months to a year after the death. Okay. Now look, this comes with the attorney's name and address and phone number. This county is really generous. Not all counties come with this. If they come with this, you want to reach out to the attorney. Remember we talked about surrounding our seller? So again, you want to mail the property. If the PR's name and address is available, you definitely want to mail them. That's the #1 person that you want to mail. Who do I mail? You mail the PR's name and address. If that's not there, who do I mail? You send a letter to the house, to the Smith family. If the attorney's name is there, find the attorney's phone number if it's not available. Call the attorney, get their email, send them that attorney letter that I told you I'm going to give to you guys and the bonuses, okay? So these are the probates. Hillsborough County only had 13 leads this week. They usually get 20 to 25 every week, but it was a smaller week for them. But check this out, guys. That's a probate case, right? A pre-probate case does not have names and addresses of PR. You know why? Because there is no PR. There's no PR. They died last week. They literally just died last week. So on the pre-probates, there is no PR. You're just going to get the name and you're going to get the addresses of the person who died. So who do you skip trace? You skip trace the decedent, because if you're using a good skip trace service like TLO or somewhere like that, they're going to give you the surrounding family members of the area. Send a letter to the house. Remember, it's the PR's job to check the mail. And listen, guys, if they're not checking the mail once a week and they're not having it forwarded to them, do you really want to deal with them anyway? Of course not. All right, guys, I'm about to start sharing my video again and open this up for Q&A. But if you guys have any questions, now is the time to send them in. So let me get back to my slideshow here, because I want to share. I want to leave it on the screen that has the pricing on there in case you guys have any underlying questions about that. Let's see here. Let me get back to that screen, guys. Stand by just for a moment. All right, so we're going to share the video and share the screen again. All right, there's the pricing screen back up there. Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and open it up to Q&A now. So let's look. I have to look through the questions for just a moment, get back all the way up to the top. I have a lot of yeses on here because that was when I was making sure that everybody could hear me. This is recorded. Yes, this has been recorded, and the owner, after editing it, will send it to me, and we'll send it back out to you guys when it's done. So if you miss anything in the call, it was recorded, and he will get that done probably by morning. I've got to get past all the yeses. Somebody said they had a terrible connection. Don't worry, we're going to email the replay to you. How do we skip trace? Is there a fee? We did go over that, and skip tracing is free on some companies like www.piplsearch.com. That's www.piplsearch.com. There's also www.true, I think it was True People Search. Don't worry, you're going to get a copy of all those really good skip tracing links that I told you guys about for free, as well as the paying ones. So if you were on this call, you're going to be sent that information, Kathleen, for sure. What does the data include, and can you provide phone numbers? Well, we did just go over that. We do not provide phone numbers with our list. Unless it's an absentee owner list, we can get absentee owners in free and clear with phone numbers. It's just going to narrow down your list. So when you order a customized lead source, guys, just know that if you order it with phone numbers, it's going to shrink your list. So it might be better to say, hey, I want phone numbers on all of them that are available, but I still want the ones that aren't, so you can still do a mailing campaign or skip trace them, okay? What about the software that emulates handwriting? We did go over that, Kathleen, in the software that emulates the handwriting. GoBigPrinting.com/Tangi. If you go there, they can do the handwritten letters for you for the handwritten font for only 64 cents with postage. So that's the Foreclosure Daily discount. And that's included with postage. Yes, it is. How many letters did he ask? Did he send to get that many responses? I'm really not sure how many letters he actually sent, Michelle, to get those responses, to be perfectly honest with you. I know he did an influx of them because he had a little bit of back data too. So I think it was just like 300 or 400. It wasn't that much. Listen, when you're working with probate, pre-probate, inheritance, code violations, evictions, or divorce leads, you're working with a smaller amount of leads, but you're working a more targeted list. So you're targeting more people that want to sell their property, but you're having to spend less marketing to them because this is not quantity, guys. It's more quality when you're working these types of leads, okay? Because when you're working these types of leads, it's a smaller group of people, but you're targeting hotter people, hotter groups of people, okay? Now, for the realtor, how many letters did she send to get 3 responses? Believe it or not, she only sent 1 letter. That was her first time doing it ever. And she had about a month's worth of data because she did about a month back too. So she didn't have any more than 100 to get those 3 listings immediately. And that was just in her first week. I'm sure she got more after, but we had one conversation about it, and then I didn't stay up with it on what happened after that. But those 3 listings that she got was within her first week of marketing. Now, do not call list. Do we have any recommendations for the do not call list? Okay, so on the absentee owners, it is scrubbed against the do not call list, just so you know, but we don't provide phone numbers on the other list, so clearly they're not scrubbed. Excuse me, guys, I'm taking a drink of my water. So I don't have any recommendations on do not call or litigator list scrubbing, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't really know anybody who does that. Local RIA clubs, if you go to your local RIA clubs and ask stuff like that, they'll help you. In any of the wholesaling Facebook groups, if you're not members of the wholesaling Facebook groups, please join them because they give you a slew of information. There's a Facebook group out there with 14,000 members, and if you ask that question on there, you're going to have about 50 people respond to you. I promise you, if you join local wholesaling Facebook groups, they're going to be like a godsend to you, guys, because they're going to tell you everything you need to know. They'll share contracts with you guys and everything. Do I have any Okay. I'm a land investor. Can you get sorted list of land? No, we do. We do vacant land, absolutely, but we don't do vacant land on probate and pre-probate. We can just get a list of vacant land. Christian. There's a name I haven't seen in a while. If you purchase a 12-week pre-probate leads, can I start it? Yes, you can. Christian, if you purchase a probate list or pre-probate list or any list for that matter, you can pay for it and place it on immediate hold just so that you can get Steve's buy one get one free at the discounted rate. The answer is yes. A lot of people have to wait to get their letters approved for mailing, especially if you're like an attorney. And it usually takes about 2 weeks, 3 weeks for the bar to approve your letter. So the answer is yes, you can put your list on hold and use it whenever you want, but you can buy it today. Do you offer a refund? No, we do not offer a refund. If you wish not to continue after 2 months, you don't need to be doing this. And I'm not trying to come off as cold, but here's the thing. Do we offer a refund if you don't wish to continue after 2 months? If you don't wish to continue after 2 months, you've gave up, because you should never use any lead source ever at all in your life of investing and only use it for 2 months. If you use a list for 2 months and you call me and want a refund, I tell you to go back home and write your letters for 6 more months. You should never give up after a couple of months. You should do a 6-step mailing campaign for 6 cold, hard months straight before you ever consider asking anybody to give refunds or, hey, this didn't work. I had somebody call me 2 weeks after using the list to tell me it didn't work for him. Again, if that's all you're going to put into your business, guys, that's all you're going to get out of it. So under no circumstances would we give a refund after 2 months, because that's not a list that was used properly, sweetie. You need to use that list like for a 6-step mailing campaign before you make any assumptions like that, okay? Charles, I don't know where Intellis ranks as a skip tracer. Intellius, I'm sorry. I would go on your wholesaling groups and ask that to them, because they would be able to better answer you. Listen, if I don't know an answer to one of your questions, guys, I have no problems telling you. I don't know everything there is to know. You guys could probably teach me a thing or two. Now, I have not heard of Intellius, and as far as how they rank as a skip tracer, maybe one of your local fellow investors on the Facebook groups would be able to answer that question better for you. Todd, we're going back in the day now. All right, price on postcards. I'm paying 54 cents. Good price on postcards. I am paying 54 cents per card with postage where it shows the home. Todd, I'm telling you, honey, if you go to gobigprinting.com, Steve has set up a great deal with them. Foreclosuresdaily.com has locked in a good deal with gobigprinting.com for you guys, where they're doing it for us for only 38 to 42 cents, honey, for that same postcard showing the home. Gobigprinting.com/TNG. And the reason we put that is because I'm the one that helped write these letters and postcards for you guys. But Foreclosures Daily cut a really good deal with Go Big Printing for you guys. So definitely contact them, and they'll notify you in 2 more, I think it's 2 more days on that postcard that'll be ready. Mark, driven past a few houses that would be great for investments, but I can't find out how to read the out-of-state owners. These were owned by LLCs with no name to mail to. How would you try to reach them? Okay, so if you've driven past a few houses that would make a great investment, but you can't find out how to read the out-of-state owners. Now, if they were owned by LLCs, you can look that up and find out the name of them and contact them through their LLC. I know you don't have a name on there, but they usually will post contact information on their LLC as to how to get a hold of them. But again, Mark, go to your local investment groups, go to your wholesaling Facebook groups and reach out to some of the guys and ask that question. That's probably outside of my scope of work on that one, sweetie, sorry. Cliff, what are code violations and how does that technique work? You know, guys, we really didn't get into code violations too much, but I'll tell you right now, code violations are amazing. They are absolutely hot. If I had to list the order of the leads that are the hottest, probate and pre-probate clearly would share the #1 spot, but right below that would be code violations. Code violations are hot. If they have grown-up grass, you know, overgrown grass, overload of trash, those properties are clearly not being maintained. So those are great properties to go after because they're not being maintained by the owners and they probably don't want them anymore. So code violations is absolutely a gold mine. And what we do with them is we upload them every single Wednesday. So every single Wednesday, you'll have brand new code violations to go after. And those are the same price as probates. Mark, I contacted attorneys who said they could not provide me with contact info. You know, that is correct. You know, sometimes the attorneys are kind of sticklers like that. And I completely understand because they do have the client privilege where they can't disclose information. But the letter that I wrote for you guys to email to the attorneys is great because it says something like, hi, my name is Mark. I'm expressing interest in a probate property that I'm expressing interest in a property that you're the acting probate attorney on the case. And I was wondering if you could get me in touch with a personal representative. Now, they're not going to give you their phone number most of the time, but you can ask them to, listen, when you call an attorney, it's so easy for them to ignore you and to never call you back. But you know what happens when you put it in writing, right? Hello? When you put something in writing to an attorney, they cannot ignore you, because you know why? They can't withhold information from their client. Let me rephrase that. They may ignore you, but do you know how easy it is for them to hit forward right to their PR? I'm expressing interest in the property at 9153 Hermitage Square. You are the acting attorney on that case. Could you please get me in touch with a personal representative and let them know that I'm expressing interest in buying their property? Forward. They're going to hit forward all day long, guys, because it is against the law for them to withhold information from their client, especially if somebody's expressing interest on a property that they're the acting attorney on. Now, also, that letter that I wrote for you to email to the attorney not only expresses interest in that property, but it expresses interest in any other property that they may be probate the attorney on. So when you build a rapport with these attorneys, a lot of times they'll start sharing their probate cases with you. Do we have to pay now to put it on hold? Yes, you do. You have to pay now to put it on hold. You have till Friday to buy that buy one, get one free that Steve has so generously offered you. Nicholas is sharing information about Intel, and he's basically saying that Intellius is absolutely a great service to use. So thank you, Nicholas. We appreciate that. Sandra, so one house photo per card. One house photo per card. Sandra, I'm not really sure what you mean, but basically what GoBigPrinting.com is doing for you guys is they're going to Google Earth and they're getting a property street view photo and they're putting it on a postcard for you and putting some verbiage around it for you for only 38 to 42 cents. So if you want to send out, let's say 300 postcards at 42 cents a piece, I mean, you're only going to spend 100 and some bucks to do mailings, and that's with postage. I mean, you can't beat that price. I'm not really sure I understand your question. One house photo per card. Sorry, guys, I'm not really sure I understand that question, but I think that's pretty much what she's saying. Stand by for just a second, guys. I'm losing a little juice. Believe it or not, I forgot to plug my computer in. Can you believe that? Anyways, it'll take me just a second, guys. Being human is just not fun these days. Give me 2 secs. Okay, guys, so here we go. Sorry about that. All right, you're welcome, Todd. LLC, pull property profile for more details. And Nicholas, you are right, and that's what I was saying. When you pull the property information from the LLC, if you pull the property details, it lists right on there how to contact them. All right. Okay. All right, guys. If I don't have any more questions, we're going to be wrapping things up soon. I think I've gone through a lot of the answers. Sid, how are you doing, Sid? Sid just chimed in. He's got something to say, I think. I hope everybody's having a great time tonight, and I hope I was able to answer all your questions. And remember, when we hang up on this call, I'm going to immediately start emailing you all the bonuses that you promised. Don't hang up yet, because I have some instructions. I'm going to email you guys all the bonuses that were promised. And on that email is going to be a sales contract. And that sales contract is a form that all you do is fill it out, circle what you want, for how long you want to purchase, and we're hoping it's going to be at least a 6 month, because it's going to show much more commitment to purchase a 6 month or a year, and you're locking that free county in longer, because when you go to renew, if you only get a 3 month, you are not getting that free county at renewal. So if I were you, I would fully take advantage of that 6 month and the year right now, because you're locking that in, and Steve cannot take that away from you for a whole year. We're going to give you a free county with that discounted rate by Friday. So on that sales contract, it's just going to ask for your name, your email, your address, your credit card information that you want to use to pay, and to circle your choices. And then there's a note section in there that you can write notes. Now, if you don't have a way to scan it, take a picture with your phone, email it to me, text it to me, do whatever you need to do. I gave you my cell phone. It's 863-698-3550. That's 863-698-3550. Reach out to me if you have any questions. You can email me at tangi@foreclosuresdaily.com. My office line is also below. I'll have that information sent out to you guys within the next 30 minutes. And that'll be a list of all the bonuses that we offered with a sales contract attached, so you can sign up for the services. Great, guys. Thanks a lot for being on the call tonight. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Have a great evening.